Lady and gentlemen, boys and girl, baby, YouTube people, thank you swing by my channel. Today I have the Accord 2007 hybrid. I will do a complete tune-up. Okay, we'll do timing belt, water pump, and spark plug, valve cover gasket, and we'll do the valve adjustment because this car had about 180,000 miles, 80,000 miles over the limit of timing belt. Today we're starting, but I don't know when I will be finishing it. Okay, it could be take a couple days for me. Alright. Okay, use your trim plier to pull this right here. Ring plier like this, and that will be do the work too. One right here and one under here. I have this two Popular Impact here, and they claim that this is more power, and that's this is about 700 foot-pound. This I think this is nearly 1,000 foot-pound. I think I don't remember, but I know that the Milwaukee said they're more power. I will try to use the DeWalt first to see if it can removing the crank bolt right there to see if take them out. Nothing. So we'll see. The Milwaukee will do it. Okay, he doesn't do it. So my opinion, I don't like the Milwaukee as much as DeWalt. The DeWalt is lighter, and when you shoot it, and I don't feel like it have a pulse. But on the Milwaukee, I can feel the pulse. You know, that's why I don't like the Milwaukee. Bought this a couple years ago. They say it's 2,000 foot-pound on this. Hey, let's see that my big gun will do it. That kick it. See that? Make a lot of difference with that. Very low torque, you know, and that will taking care of that problem. This right here a little bit different than a non-hybrid, because the hybrid one you don't have the power steering pump. Okay, so you don't have power steering pump, you cut down a little bit, you know, less work right here. Okay, I have this magnet tray to catch all the bolt that I taking out, so you don't lose your bolt. See that? Okay, the motor mount is broken, so need a new motor mount. So only a couple bolts holding it. I should be able to pop this out. Okay. See, one thing about right here, it flap a lot. Okay, so that could be have something to do with the tensioners down there somewhere that not tensioning, because it's Honda have many times Honda have the tensioners leaking, and that can cause this right here not tensioning like that. So for this Honda here, pretty tight in the wall, and you can using a small ratchet to go on the other side or go under the bottom, but you should be able to do on the top here, just taking down the crossbar right here, and you can put your hand through the back. Okay, I'm going to move this top piece right here because I will do the valve cover, adjusting the valve, so I need to take this off. Okay. Holding this right here. Okay, there's 2 bolts inside here. I have two number 12. You know, this hybrid is much more tighter than the regular non-hybrid one. I don't know why, but you know, the non-hybrid one, you got a lot of room right here. So you can cut it 10 millimeters short, then cut the socket about a quarter like that. Fitting very good. So you have to have a short socket like this to go inside here. Otherwise you can't get it because the ABS line is on the way. You don't want to bend this ABS line, all the stuff, you know. So just cut a cheap socket like mine, just cut it. It's not a big deal. Okay, to take the cover here off, you have to jack the motor to be able to clear from here. If you don't jack the motor, then it's hard to take this out. Use something long like this, or you can use a short one, that's fine, but it will be have a hard time to break that apart. Tensioner here, you take this 10 millimeter bolt out and that 10 out, and this should be free. Okay, so I don't have a hand to hold my camera, but I just telling you that removing the center one and removing this on the side one, and that should be able to pull out. And you don't need to take this 14 out if you don't want it to, because those 2 is taken care already. Okay, for the behind here, in case you're looking from the top and you don't see it, you can feel this 2 bolt right there, the white one and the kind of gray one right there, and one gray one is for the tensioner, and the white one is for the the timing cover. So, and if you don't go from the under here, then you feel from the top. Make sure you don't losing the tensioner, because if you look in the tensioner, then the timing will be off. Okay, unless you already set your timing, all that stuff, but most likely you're not, because you need to take the timing cover out first. Okay, if you can go under here, you can see it, but if you coming from the top, so if you feel from the top, you just put your hand like that, then you can't feel it, you know. So be careful with that. So on the cam sprocket right here is, you have a little mark right there by that teeth right here, and up here you see that little round thing on top of that, have a little mark. Okay, and that is have to be go straight to that right here, and also the top too. Okay, I'll show you that on the top. On the top here, you will see this little tiny mark right here, straight to that line right there, and also down here you will see that line right there, straight to that line right there. Then your timing is completely marked. By the bottom here, it's the same thing. Okay, turn that little mark right there straight to the arrow pointing down like that. Then that means your mark is straight. And now you can take out your tensioner. So the tensioner is holding by 2 bolts, which is the one right here. I'm not sure my camera can see it. And there's another one like this on the top. So you take 2 of those out. After you're setting all the timing, you can use the impact to loosen this bolt right here. The reason you use the impact is it doesn't turn your crank and camshaft up there, because it's the force of the impact. So now I take out the tensioner already. So just go to here and take down the timing belts off. What you have to do is taking down this timing belt bracket holder right there. If you go to the bottom here, and you can see that there's two bolts holding it. Okay, see that two bolts holding it? You have to take this two. Okay, we're removing this right here, and this is the number 14, and also this right here too. Okay, for in case you didn't buy the package like a set or timing belt and does not come with this tube, and you can check this tube to see if it's still good or not. How do you check it? This is how you check this. Okay, now put your finger like this and spin it, spin like this. See, like this one, it does not spin fast. That means still good. Okay, why? Because you still have grease in there. Okay, you still have grease in there, so that means still good. Same thing this right here. If you spin this right here and it doesn't consistently spin all the time like this, this is a bad one. Let me show you the bad one. Okay, this is a bad one because there's no more grease inside to holding, not to spinning. So that means if you put something like this in there, it will make noise. Okay, not at the moment, but will be make noise in the long run because there's no more grease inside. Okay, so this is how you test it. Spin the one you have, and it continues to spin like the one I just showed. That means you have to replace it. Let's say you don't have money to replace it. Okay, you can open the blue line right here. Okay, take this out, open the blue line, just a seal cover it, and then grease it. You can grease this right here and reusing it. Okay, let's say that you try to save some money, like this one right here. You can press this bearing out and pop out the black that from the inside here using maybe a sharp, something sharp like this, or a knife with small, very thin something that to pry this cover out, and then you can grease it. Okay, grease both sides, and then you can reusing that. And I done it, and it worked. It worked just like new, as long you don't hear a grinding noise like this one right here, just because low grease only, but it's not making noise yet. It's not grinding the bearing inside yet. So that means if it's not bearing, the bearing is not bad, just dry out grease, then of course you can rebuild this. But if already making noise, don't bother to put grease in. It won't work because the bearing is already worn out. Okay, after you take out all the bolt, but leave maybe one or two to holding the water pump, and you slowly crack the water pump to get water open. Yeah, so that will drain to your pans down there to catch on the rest of the water. Okay, now you can take out the bolt that holding right here. Okay, then just taking out the water pump because you already take all the bolts out. For many of you that is the first time doing it, recommend it to replace this right here, even though you don't buy a complete set that don't come with this. You always have to replace this right here. Why I saying that? Because somehow Honda have quite a bit leak on this piston here, and according to this right here already been leaked. There's not much grease inside here that you can see, but the top of this right here, okay, and I can see that normally it round, okay, it round, so you know that this not leaking. A flat like this right here, that means it's been leaked. Okay, the top on the tip is flat already, so that means this has been leaked. So it tapping with this right here. Okay, it tapping with this right here when in the cold start, you will hear like maybe like why my car sounds like diesel, or something wrong with the crank, you know, crankshaft or something like that. So that is what happened right here. Okay, on a Toyota I don't really hear this kind of noise before, but on Honda, if your car have it over 150 to 200,000 miles like this one and never been changed, you definitely have to change, and you definitely will hear some tapping noise in the morning when it's cold. So recommended changing this right here and check the bearing. Okay, and the belt recommended by Honda. Okay, I will show you the part number for this model here. Part number for the water pump is this right here. Okay, and this carried by O'Reilly. The Honda belt is part number. The reason I say that you have to buy belt from Honda, for my many year experience, I find out that if you buy auto part stuff like timing belt, and they tend to dry out faster and they break. Okay, on the Honda, this is 200,000 miles. This car is 189,000 miles already, and you can see that there's no crack, you know, no sign of like tearing down or cracking, any of that. So a little bit more money, but you get precisely good. Okay, so that's why I recommended Honda. You know, buy their OEM stuff like belt will last you double the aftermarket belt, and they will not break. Okay, so I see a lot of aftermarket being broke by maybe like 3 to 5 years between that. Some of those break. So when it break, you know how much it costs one of this engine? Over $1,000. Okay, that is just a low part, and you can get one probably nearly $2,000. So you don't want to happen like that to you. So get something better. The water pump, you don't have to buy the Honda one, because this is a lifetime from auto part. Okay, in case within a 5 year and you hear noise, you hear water leak, hey, you can always go get another one from auto part, you know, and it costs, I think, not even a half of the OEM one, and it looks pretty much the same, but like I said, quality is not going to be the same, but it worked. Okay, it worked, and you can get 1 or 2 of this in the long run. You know, in case it's a failure, you can go back and just get another one. Okay, so that's all my recommendations. So let's put this back in there. And make sure that the your gasket is set in the water pump before you tighten up, because if you don't, it will break the water pump O-ring, and then you will have a water leak. Okay, make sure it's set in there, not loose. Okay, and the water pump bolt does have a torque on it. For me, I will use hand tights only, and don't use something long, use something short like this, and make sure it's firm only. And this is a 10mm bolt, so you don't want to torque so much and you will break that, then you're in trouble. On this one, you have if you have red Loctite, put red Loctites in there. If you do not have a red one, you can use a blue one. The red one is like more silicone based than the blue one. Blue one just medium one, so you can use. I would say as long as you have a Loctite, is better than no Loctite. So now everything is done, so I will put my timing back up in there. Before you put your timing in, make sure you check all the marks still there. If you don't check, in case your mark is jump already, and then you're in trouble. So for myself, I always starting from this side and end down there. Over here. Okay. When it's set in, then you just work your way around. I recommend it put the paper clip holding right here, so in case you work down there, it doesn't jump out. So now it's tight, so you can take out the paper clip and you can go put the tensioner. I recommend put a little bit of grease in right there on by the piston tip, so that will reducing at the first hit. You will not have a lot of dry out, you know. So as soon you put your tensioner in, then you can pull the pin out. Sometimes it's hard. Okay. So now the timing belt is tensioning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn by hand a couple rounds to make sure the tensioner is tight, and not just that, make sure all the marks still there, because you could be making some chain during your timing belt put in, and it could be timing could be off too. So make sure you check and double check. Okay, it's coming up slowly. Make sure. As now the mark is straight to that, and the one right here also straight. Also straight. You see that little one right here? Straight to the top of that. My camera hopefully can see it. Okay. I mean, now everything's good, so I'm ready to put my timing belt cover in. If you check and recheck something like this, failure, you know, not very much, because you careful enough, you know. Sometimes in the past, my experience one, what happened is I did a one on the Tundra. Tundra does like 05, and the tensioner is not going tight like supposed to be tightening, because I did not turn a couple times to make sure the tensioner is working properly, and I just put everything back in there, and I thought that all set, so I just fired up, and the tensioner is not tensioning, and the belt, you know, causing the belt jump one little T and broken down all 6 valve and 2 piston. So that's pretty bad, and I have to tearing down the engine. So just let you know, accident, it does happening. So from now on, pretty much just reverse. The most difficult part is to set up your timing and all that stuff, and to taking out. So we'll continue when I do the spark plug and valve adjustment and replacing the valve cover gasket, all that stuff. Okay, everything's been connected. The only thing, the back and the windshield wiper, I did not connect it because I still need to do a valve adjustment on this thing here. So that will be a second part, or I will continue doing the same thing on this. Okay, so let's go fire it up to see everything else running correctly. Very scary, you know, in case you do it wrong and then your timing is not right, you break everything. So that's the scariest part. So let's go find out. Okay, it's running perfectly. Okay, smooth. So now I know that the timing, everything is good. So I'm ready to tear down the top part to do a valve adjustment. Okay, at this point here, if you do only timing belt, then that's it. And thank you for watching. Please help subscribe. I need your help. Every single one of you, when you subscribe, it's the same thing as you say thank you to me. So that is helped me a lot. Okay, thank you for watching. Goodbye now.